After the non-cooperation movement was called off in 1922, India saw a relative amount of peace in the country. But it again broke out into a phase of mass struggle in 1913. And this event also had certain preceding events that were of utmost importance. And one of the main events that occurred at that point of time was the creation of the Simon Commission. So we see that the British constituted the Simon Commission under Sir John Simon in 1927. Now, what did this commission do? What was the objectives of the commission? The first was to assess the effectiveness of the Government of India Act, which had been passed in 1919, and to suggest necessary changes for the smooth functioning of the constitutional system in India. Thus, you might say that this commission looks like something that has been prepared to help the people of India out in their daily governance. But just to the contrary of that belief, Indians understood the true intentions of the British by the fact that the Simon Commission was an all-white commission. So it did not have one single Indian in the commission. So the Simon Commission, which was an all-white commission, did not have a single Indian member, and that is the reason Indians understood the true intentions of the British. Now, the Simon Commission was also rejected by the people, or the people did not like the idea of it, because the commission did not pay any heeds to the demands of Swaraj, and it refused to accept the demand of Swaraj. The resentment of the people was in fact visible when Sir John Simon visited India in February 1928, where he faced countrywide protests. So a large number of people surrounded him with black flags and the slogan of Simon, go back. The British, of course, came up with a heavy amount of repressive measures like constant lathi charging, and we see that it also killed many people, thus wounding a number of people in the movement as well. So one of these people who was leading the movement from the forefront was Lala Lajpat Rai. And in these lathi charges and the repressive measures that the police was taking, Lala Lajpat Rai had been hit on the head. So he led the protest movement against Simon Commission, and he was leading it from Lahore. He got seriously wounded in a lathi charge in October 1928, and he succumbed to his wounds after a month, which also caused his demise. Now, after Lala Lajpat Rai died, Simon Commission and this all-white commission was looked at something that the Indian people absolutely were resentful of. So to review the situation at hand, an all-party meet was organized where the most important parties in India met and decided upon how to go about with the changes or the movement that was taking place. So we see that this committee was headed by Motilal Nehru, and this committee brought out the Nehru report, which recommended the dominion status for India. The most important event that led to the start of the movement was the call and the declaration for Purna Swaraj that happened in the Lahore session of Congress in 1929. So the declaration of Purna Swaraj, or complete independence, was made in the Lahore session. Now, Gandhi took a midway. So he stated that if the British does not agree to the points of the Indians and the parties that are being established within a year, Gandhi will give a call for civil disobedience movement, and people will start with the procedures. So we see that Gandhi proposed to launch the civil disobedience movement if the government failed to grant dominion status to India. Now, when the government rejected this proposal, Gandhi gave a mass call of civil disobedience movement and launched it in 1930. The start of the civil disobedience movement happened with the historic Dandi March. Now we see that in 1835, the British had imposed a tax on Indian salt and had passed a series of salt laws. Now, what did this salt, law state? It stated an increase in the price of the salt, making it difficult for the common people to buy salt, and the salt laws prohibited Indians from collecting, producing or selling salt, taking away any possible source of income from them. Now we have to realize that salt is a basic commodity in the common man's home, which if the common man cannot produce in absolutely minimal prices, then what will the common man eat on a day-to-day basis? Therefore, Gandhi wanted to change the structure. Also keeping in mind that the British barred Indians from producing salt or collecting salt, thus taking away the employment of the people who lived on the coastal areas. So this was the exact idea that Gandhi took, and he went forward with it when he launched his Dandi March. So as we see, the civil disobedience movement began when Gandhi and his followers undertook a march from the Sabarmati ashram at Ahmedabad to Dandi. The journey started on the 12th of March 1930 and it ended on the 6th of April of 1930. Finally, people now started to move out in popular revolt, but maintaining the non-violent methodology that Gandhi had proposed. So we see that people started to resign from their government jobs, and this time people refused to pay taxes to the government as well, keeping in mind that this was a civil disobedience movement. So it had almost become the order of the day to see the ideas of boycott and Swadeshi being performed when British goods and clothes were being burnt on the streets openly. So people were encouraged to picket shops selling foreign goods and liquor. Public bonfires were arranged where people gathered and burnt all of their British clothes, as you can see though the pictures on your screen. Now, the civil disobedience movement started to spread far and wide. We see that in the northwest frontier province, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan and his group of volunteers, who were called Khudaye Khidmatgars, stopped paying taxes. Because of his staunch methodologies, Abdul Ghaffar Khan soon came to be known with the title of Frontier Gandhi. Now, can you tell me who was known as Frontier Gandhi? Was it Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Lala Lajpat Rai, Mahatma Gandhi, or C. Rajagopalachari? The correct answer will be Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Around a year later, we see Mahatma Gandhi and Lord Irvin, who was the then Viceroy of India, sign a pact which came to be known as the Gandhi-Irvin Pact, signed on 5th of March 1931. Now, what was decided upon in this particular pact? So the Gandhi-Irvin Pact suggested that the British government agreed to release all political prisoners who were not convicted of any violence cases. So whichever political prisoner did not have a case of committing violence during the civil disobedience movement will therefore be released. And also it was stated that the civil disobedience movement be halted right away. So we see that the Pact stated the halting of the civil disobedience movement. Third, we see that the Congress agreed to participate in the second round table conference. As committed by Mahatma Gandhi, he went ahead to attend the second round table conference as the sole representative of Congress. But Gandhi was severely disappointed with the proceedings of the conference. He saw that the Sikhs, Christians, Anglo-Indians, depressed classes, Muslim League, and all were demanding separate electorates for themselves. Now, in this entire, debate for separate electorates, they had almost forgotten about the basic idea of self-determination and formation of a government, which were not at all discussed in the conference. Thus, we see that after Gandhi came back to India in 1931, he gave a call to resume the civil disobedience movement. And the civil disobedience movement was resumed when picketing of shops, burning of foreign goods, manufacturing of salt began. So, basically resuming the older methodologies again. The government took extremely brutal measures to suppress the movement. Large number of Congress volunteers and leaders, including Gandhiji, were imprisoned. So this was the time when Gandhi too was imprisoned due to the civil disobedience movement. The Congress finally withdrew the movement in 1934. Even though we see that civil disobedience movement was unsuccessful in bringing about a monumental change, it did bring the Indians together and form a mass movement and take it forward, which would lead India to its path of freedom. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly, learn via games, and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So, at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So, register for free now.